my simple prayer. Lord, this is my simple prayer. Come and purify me. Cause my heart to burn again. Fill it with your fire. Cry out for your holiness. Please cleanse this wandering heart. Wash my shame and my brokenness. I surrender. I surrender. This is my simple prayer. Lord, this is my simple prayer. Come and purify me. Oh yes, Lord, cause my heart to burn again. Fill it with your fire. I cry out for your holiness. I cry out for your holiness. Please cleanse this wandering heart. Wash my shame and my brokenness. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. Oh Lord, I surrender. Yeah, Lord. Oh, this is my simple prayer. Oh, come purify my heart. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. Lord, this is my simple prayer. Come and purify me. Yes, Lord, cause my heart to burn again. Fill it with your fire. Fill it with your fire. Fill it with your fire. Yes, Lord. Fill it with your fire. That's what we need, Lord. Fill it with your fire. Fill it with your fire. Yeah. Fill it with your fire. Oh, fill it with your fire.
So we're in another week of topics, and this is week one for Burn Brighter, entitled "Different Spirit." As a warm up, there are three bullets here. Um, Share something that you consider unique about yourself. Uh, the next one is, have you experienced going against the flow? What was the outcome? And the third one, how do you respond to people who want to do things differently than what you prefer? Okay. Uh, for our word today, we have from Numbers chapter 14, verse 24. But my servant Caleb, because he has a different spirit and has followed me fully, I will bring into the land into which he went, and his descendant shall possess it. So, when God promised to deliver his people from slavery in Egypt, for you know, they 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 suffered for hundreds of years, suffering oppression. We can imagine each generation of wishing uh, that the promise God made is fulfilled in their lifetime. God brought his people from Egypt and led them, promised to lead them into a land flowing with milk and honey. However, despite their miraculous deliverance, the Israelites saw the giants they had to overcome to claim their inheritance and lost faith in God. Today, uh, let's look at the different responses from two generations and how God showed his faithfulness. Number one, in the midst of a bad report, Caleb and Joshua responded in faith. Numbers 13, 28 and 30 says, however, the people who dwell in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very large. And besides, we saw the descendants of Anak there. In verse 30, but Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and occupy it, for we are well able to overcome it. As God's people, Israel planned to enter the promised land, they sent about 12 spies to scout it. 10 of these spies gave a bad report upon seeing the occupants of Canaan, the giants who lived there, who would need to be defeated, discouraged. Yeah, defeated. And these 10 spies discouraging others for pursuing God's promise. But Caleb and Joshua responded in faith. As young as they were, they fixed their eyes on God, who gave the promise, not on the challenges ahead. They boldly declared their confidence in God and what they could do through Him. In the same way, we can be in faith that God gave us the power to fight for His promises, regardless of what others say. Right? This is true for from every generation. Is there a promise from God that you fight for, that you fought for? How did God enable you to receive this promise? Yep. Uh, God promised blessings. God promised provisions, but He also said that it will be hard for people. But that's where faith comes in, right? To see, to see something worth worth it, worth to fight for, because we know that God is there to help us. Number two, in the midst of rebellion, Moses and Aaron interceded for God's people. Numbers 14, verse 19 says, please pardon the iniquity of these people according to greatness of their steadfast love, just as you have forgiven these people from Egypt until now. Because of that bad report, many of the Israelites grumbled and rebelled against God. Their leaders from the older generations, Moses and Aaron, could have let them suffer the wrath of God as consequence of their rebellion, but they, out of reverence of God, interceded on behalf of the people. Likewise, those who are no longer part of the younger generation can still take part in God's work, fighting for alongside them in different ways. Why is it important for older generations to intercede for and stand with the younger ones? Obviously, for a common stance to show faith, right? To show common vision. What are some ways that the older generation could fight for and help the next generation? Actually, the older generation could give the younger generations wisdom, yeah, wisdom to on how to tackle things. They could help them understand more of what's ahead, and the values they teach should be etched in their hearts and minds, right? Number three, in the midst of unfaithfulness, God remained faithful to fulfill his promise. Numbers 14, verse 20 and 24. Then the Lord said, I have pardoned according to your word. But my servant Caleb, because he has a different spirit and has followed me fully, I will bring him, I will bring into the land into which he went, and his descendants shall possess it. So, in spite of the Israelites' lack of faith and rebellion, they received they received God's mercy and were spared from being wiped out. Nice, di ba? They still inherited the promised land, but only the next generation would be able to enter it. We also see how God honored Caleb's faith, rewarding him and his descendants. Only he and Joshua were allowed to enter the land from their generation. In his age, Caleb recounted the faithfulness God showed him. So, what does Deuteronomy 7:9 say about the faithfulness of God? Deuteronomy 7, verse 9. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 9 says, know therefore that the Lord your God is God, the faithful God who keeps covenant and steadfast love with those who love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. So God promised to keep his covenant for those who love him and those who keep his commandments. So, what is his commandments? What do you think? When Jesus was on earth, he told them, he told the disciples to love one another. And this is carried over to the church. And at present times, that's his greatest commandments, to love one another. Today we saw how two generations work together to see God's promises and plans fulfilled. May we have the same posture of working together to advance God's kingdom here on earth. Yes. We have a 3-point application. Number one, God is calling every generation to be actively involved in sharing his promises, plans, and purposes to the next generation. Uh, write 3 ways you can do this. Number two, take time to honor and thank those who from the older generation who mentored you and helped you in your walk with God. Pray a prayer of blessing over them. And number three, ask God to use you to help someone from the younger generation. Pray for God to lead you to the person this week uh, for and use you to bring hope and encouragement. As for our 3-point prayer, number one, thank God for using us to fulfill his plans and purposes. Ask God to open more doors for you to encourage people to trust God's faithfulness throughout all generations. Number two, ask God to show you how he has been faithful to you. Pray that he will enable you to respond in faith regardless of the circumstances that surround you. And number three, pray for God to intercede for others. Ask God for people you can pray for this week and for opportunities to to encourage them with his word. So that's it for this week, for today's lesson. May God bless you. Till next time.
I don't know what this day will bring. Will it be disappointing or filled with longed for things? I don't know what tomorrow holds. Still, I know I can trust your faithfulness. I don't know if these clouds mean rain. If they do, will they pour down blessing or pain? I don't know what the future holds. Still, I know I can trust your faithfulness. Certain as the rivers reach the sea, certain as the sunrise in the east, I can rest in your faithfulness, surer than a mother's tender love, surer than the stars still shine above. I can rest in your faithfulness. don't know how or when I'll die. Will it be a thief, or will I have a chance to say goodbye? No, I don't know how much time is left, but in the end I will know your faithfulness. When darkness overwhelms my soul, when thoughts are storms of doubt, still I trust you are always faithful, always faithful, certain as the rivers reach the sea, certain as the sunrise in the east. I can rest in your faithfulness, surer than a mother's tender love, surer than the stars still shine above. I can rest in your faithfulness. I can rest in your faithfulness. I don't know what this day will bring. Will it be disappointing or filled with longed for things? I don't know what tomorrow holds. Still I know I can trust your faith.